What do we got next up? Chicago, New York Islanders. Oh boy, game of the night right here. 61-62. We've got Islanders minus 125. Home favorite, total 6.5. Pretty much across the board in this game. Now I know this total's 6.5, but there's no freaking way I'm betting it under. None. Zero. There's absolutely no way I'm betting this thing under the total. These are civ defensive teams right now. Not even an issue. There's no argument. There's no debate. These are two absolute brutal teams in their own end right now. Chicago doesn't give a care. If I can steal a Letterkenny term right there, they don't give a care right now at the defensive end. Look at this Chicago team. Lost 5 straight games, 6 to Winnipeg, 5 to how does Buffalo score 5 on you right now? St. Louis 5, Colorado 5, Vancouver banged up, no Besser, no Granlund. They got Pee Wee players basically trying to score goals for them right now, and they put up a 5 spot on this Chicago team right now. I mean, that is how bad it's been for the Blackhawks defensively. They can't stop a puck. Berube and Forsberg are two stiffs, can't play. They stink. They're absolutely horrible right now. So right now we got a Chicago team that's just absolutely horrendous defensively right now. Islanders, they've been horrendous defensively all season, pretty much. And the penalty kill, again, has given up 5 goals in the 4 games recently. 7-6 loss to Tampa. They did show up against Pittsburgh with one good decent defensive effort, 4-1, but they gave up 37 shots in the process. Just one of those nights Pittsburgh wasn't finishing quite as much as they usually do. And then before that, they give up 4 to Carolina, 6 to Washington, 7 to Washington. They've gone over the total now for their last 5 games, the New York Islanders. So this is 6.5, but it's 6.5 for a reason. Frankly, I think it could, maybe even should be 7.5. I got personally no problem. Again, 6.5's not. I need a damn good reason usually to go over 6.5. I've got more than enough damn good reasons here, so we'll be on over 6.5 here in this game. Again, I love overs with 2 teams not in the playoffs. Why do I like the non-playoff teams facing off against one another over the total this late in the season? Because there's lack of defensive intensity. That's number 1. Number 2, you got AHL call-ups littering these lineups on a nightly basis. These are players that are hungry, that are motivated. They want to show you something, showcase their ability, showcase their talent for the coach. What does that mean in terms of the pace of play, style of play? We're a little more aggressive. We're a little more attack-minded. We want to, make some plays with the puck. We want to showcase that, hey, we can score goals, make things happen here at the NHL level. But sometimes you're also, because you want to try to do too much, prone to giving the puck away, turning it over in areas where you shouldn't, providing good scoring chances and goals sometimes for the opposition. Those factors combined, 2 non-playoff teams facing off against one another this late in the season, you get a bunch of overs, I find. It's a long-term track record of success in these games late in the season. 2 non-playoff teams over the total. That's what we'll go with here. Chicago and the New York Islanders over 6.5. Alex B. Smith, what do you got here? Blackhawks and Islanders. This is the game of the night, I'm telling you.
Yeah, this is without question the worst game of the card, probably the last 2-3 weeks. Both these teams are absolutely horrific. Hawks have lost 19 of the last 25 games going back to February 1st. Islanders have lost 12 of their last 14 games. The only angle I mentioned it with Dana earlier before the show was that if John Francois Berube is playing, he would be going up against his old team and the Islanders. If maybe that would spark something, I doubt it. And even then, it still wouldn't matter. He's still a horrible mid-range goalie at best. 6.5 is high, but that's the only way I can look here. The Hawks 5-1-1 in the over the last 7. He said there's a ton of call-ups, not much defense played here between the two. It's just kind of roll the puck out and see who scores the most goals. So over 6.5 is the only thing I would be looking at here.
Yeah, it's one of my favorite terms. Alex is picking up on it. You're right. The 2 non-playoff teams this late in the season. Let's roll the puck out on the ice, have some fun. You go up and down and just maybe try to, just wing it around, have some fun. Defense doesn't matter. Nobody cares about, especially on these 2 teams as of late. So yeah, I mean, it's a perfect recipe for what should be some goals. And you talk about it. I mean, Berube or Forsberg, none of these guys are good right now. None of these guys are confident. They're giving up 4 or 5 goals on a nightly basis. They miss, obviously, Corey Crawford really effectively ended the season right there for Chicago once he was out. And it's not like Jarro Halak's been any better. I mean, you look at his recent starts, they've not been good. 4 goals allowed against Carolina, 5 goals allowed against Washington. He's likely going to be in tonight instead of Christopher Gibson, finally giving Gibson a break, who's actually been the one decent goalie the Islanders have had as of late. The young kids really come in there and given them a little bit of a spark in net. I actually think could be a downgrade now going back to Jarro Halak tonight. So yeah, there's going to be chances. There's going to be a ton of chances tonight. It's just a question of will those chances be converted into goals. This is also on Dana's card, Blackhawks Islanders. Dana, what do you see here?
Well, I guess I'm 100% confused about who's going to start in net tonight. I mean, I went on the premise that Halak was going to start, and then there was a lot of talk about Berube, which I can't find anywhere. And then Christopher Gibson popped up on the hockey database as another website that said that he was going to start or projected to start. So who knows who's going to start tonight? But I'll go on the premise that Halak is going to start just by the fact that he's on more websites than any other. But look, I know that the Islanders and the Lightning netted 13 goals. The Hawks and Canucks got 7. So I mean, it's just everywhere you look, it's over. But if it's one thing that the Islanders have done pretty well this season, and that's played well against Western Conference teams. And I'm not talking about Minnesota. I'm talking about teams that truly have to travel from the West Coast or on a trip from the West Coast. And the last time that we saw that was against Calgary, and I thought Halak was sensational in that game. In fact, I remember a game where Halak was here in Vegas. I mean, I saw him up close and personal, and I thought he commanded the crease. I thought he looked very stable in net, and maybe. And I told my buddy this watching him. I said, you know what? Maybe this guy just needs to be relaxed and not in such a high intensity situation. Maybe against Western Conference teams, he just doesn't feel it like he does against the East. And so, look, we all know that both of these teams have issues, but I feel like just Halak's a little bit more engaged when the pressure is off. You do have the Blackhawks, who may not be having their best offensive year, but they still keep teams honest with enough shots on net, or not high quality shots. But I think that there'll be enough to keep Halak engaged if, in fact, he does start tonight. So you know how I feel about the 6.5s. I think Halak is going to play extremely well tonight if he does get the start. So I'm going under 6.5. You guys can rip me now if you want.
No, that's all right. Under 6.5. It's a high total, but to me, 4-3 games not asking a lot with these two teams right now. We'll see how it goes. But what did they played a crazy game earlier this season against one another too? Chicago, yeah, 7-3 in that game. Chicago and the New York Islanders as well. And there were a total of 85 shots on. Oh, there'll be 85 shots combined at least tonight, guaranteed. The way these two teams are going defensively right now. Yeah, there were 85 shots when the Hawks and Islanders played one another back on January 20th. So yeah, good luck with that, Berube and Forsberg on the one side and Halak on the other. You're gonna be facing a lot of rubber tonight. Let's put it that way. But again, facing a lot of rubber doesn't always equate to 7 goals. But
it's where the rubber comes from, Ian.
Yep.
It's where the rubber comes from.
Yep, that's exactly right. It's about burying the chances. You could have a grade A scoring chance, and then you fan on a shot, you hit the post, shoot it wide. That happens. So yeah. Dana's on the under, Alex and I on the over. So someone's going to win a totals bet in that game.
Hey guys, thanks for tuning in to our channel. Now, we've put a lot of work into producing all these free videos, so please help us out and keep all our content free for you forever by simply liking, sharing, commenting, and subscribing. Now, not to mention, a visit to our industry-leading website will warm the hearts of all our SBR employees, especially myself. Now, the links are over there to the left, so do check those out. Thanks for watching.